You right guys? Hello and happy Monday. Hope you're all well and enjoying the gorgeous weather outside. This week is a bit of a busy week, so I don't know how much vlogging I'm going to try and do, but now we're into the swing of things. I've kind of decided that I'm going to probably try and do about 2 a week, just because I don't really want to annoy everyone, and I think that's a good number to do. This week I'm quite busy with work, but I do want to get some good recipe vlogs in for you guys to have a look at. I need to stop doing that because obviously I just become a shadow. Still learning. Got a tripod, so now the recipe vlogs should be a lot better. Tonight I'm going to do a roast chicken salad-y kind of dish. The thing is with these recipes, I'm not going to go to town with them. I'm going to do them as easy as possible, but as delicious as possible. Let me know if you'd rather see baking, as in cookies or cakes, or do a rocky road, or if you'd rather see me do like weeknight meals or dinner party meals, because I'm here to please. Hope you're all having a good day, as always. See you later. What is this? Welcome to my new setup. All thanks to a little tripod. This is where I'm going to be doing the majority of my cooking videos. You'll see me from either this angle, this angle, this angle, or this angle. For now, thank you for watching. Like I said, tonight I'm doing chicken with watercress, quinoa, lemon scented salad maybe, and a anchovy Hollandaise sauce, which is literally one of the best meals I've ever done. Which is probably what I'll say about most meals, but trust me, let's get started. What you'll need for this recipe is what we're going to do first is make the dressing. Oh my god, there's a cat outside! Oh. What we're going to do first is make the dressing. I forgot to mention, you will also need olive oil, red wine vinegar, or it doesn't matter what kind of vinegar really, salt, pepper, which I hope I have. Yes. And a pestle and mortar to make the dressing, because it just makes your life a lot easier. You can make it yourself in this and it will be a beautiful consistency and flavour. One thing I forgot to say as well, you will also need garlic, or I'm just using garlic puree to make my life easier and probably your life easier. It's just, yeah, easier. So get hold of one of these. If I forgot anything else, I will mention it, but I will also put all the ingredients down in the description box below. So apologies for that. Like I said, I'm new at this. Okay, first up what we want to do is get the boring jobs out of the way. Chop the parsley real quick. Doesn't have to be fine, doesn't have to be exact, obviously. This isn't a restaurant, unless you are stealing this recipe for your restaurant, but whatever. I'm gonna chop the parsley, then gonna get the Hollandaise and anchovies in the pestle and mortar, and we'll go from there. When you're getting your parsley together, just pick off the leaves from the, you know, really big stalks like that. These little ones don't really matter too much. Just pick it off the big stalks, just so you don't have any crunchy stalks. One thing I said in my last vlog is that I always like to have a carrier bag like this in the kitchen, just because it means when you're done with things like the parsley stalks, you can just chuck them in rather than having to go to the bin every 5 seconds. And obviously when you've got it next to the chopping board, it is just easier. So let's take my watch off. I'm just going to chop the parsley real quick. Careful not to bruise it. Be really kind of just like let the knife do its thing. Turn it around. Obviously it's not really professional to cross chop like I am doing here, but like I said at the beginning of the vlog, what I want to do here is show you the easiest way for to do these recipes, just in case you're in a hurry in the week. So yeah, just something like that, not a dust, but just small pieces. Set that aside for 2 minutes. Get your pestle and mortar. If you don't have a pestle and mortar, obviously it doesn't matter. You can always just chop the anchovies. But if you do have a pestle and mortar, excellent. You can do it this way. We're gonna use about, I don't know, but maybe 1, 2, turn that around for you, 3 anchovies in this mix. Always start with less, because obviously when you season it and taste it at the end, doesn't matter if you add another one. Your fingers will stink of fish after touching that, so that's just something to get used to, I guess. Get your Hollandaise. I'm just using a standard, nice quality jar from the shop. About 1.5 tablespoons, I'd say, Hollandaise. Get that in there, and then start basically grinding that down. So you can see, properly get into the anchovies so it turns into a proper paste. Almost. One thing you're not going to need is salt for this part of the dressing. Well, for this part of the recipe anyway, you're not going to need it in any of the dressing, I should say. Plenty of pepper, get that in there. Get your garlic puree. Probably, I mean, it depends how much you like garlic, but I bloody love it, so I'm probably using about 2 teaspoons of garlic, which is a lot, and my breath will stink. But I guess that's just something Tony will have to deal with. Grind up again. Once you've basically broken up the anchovies, give it a little taste. See how that is? Oh, so good. It's a bit salty, but loosen it up a little bit. Drizzle a little bit of olive oil in. About, I don't know, I'd probably say about 1 tablespoon, 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Then I'd probably say about 1 tablespoon of red wine vinegar. Get that in there. For the acidity. Keep mixing. Give it another taste. Oh my goodness. Bosh! That is incredible. Add your parsley. Not necessarily all of it. I mean, like I said, this isn't an exact recipe. Like, I'm just showing you the method of how to do it and the ingredients. It's all down to your taste. So add a little bit at a time, and then if you want more, add more. No licking of the fingers, as I was taught at cookery school. Always have a teaspoon with you to try. And that is your dressing for the salad / dish done. 2 guesses who that belongs to. A name begins with T, ends with I. Just transfer it to a bowl just so you can easily, well, you don't have to, I mean, I'm just doing this because my pestle and mortar weighs the same as a small car. So just transferring it into here just so I can keep it in the fridge just while I do the rest of the dish, because the chicken does take quite a long time. This will probably keep in the fridge for a good week or so, covered, but so good I wouldn't necessarily trust leaving it that long with me about anyway. Right, next up, I know I said we were doing the chicken, but we're doing the butter for the chicken, so yeah, technically I was right. We're going to get 250 grams of butter. We're not going to use all of it, but we are going to use quite a lot of it. Don't worry that we are using quite a lot. You're not going to be eating all this butter. A lot of it melts through the chicken into the bottom of the pan, but I just use as much as I was once originally taught, because that's just the recipe I was taught and it tastes amazing. So yeah, basically about 200 grams I'd say butter. Get rid of that. I did just soften mine up in the microwave a little bit just so it's easier and more like, I don't know, pliable to work with, I guess. Yeah, in the bowl, get your garlic puree, what you used for the dressing. About, again, probably the same as two heap teaspoons garlic puree. Plenty of butter, plenty of pepper going in. I'm going to add a little bit of salt, not much, because like I said, the dressing that's going to be going on the dish is not overly salty, but it has got anchovies in it, and if you've ever had anchovies, then you do know that they are quite salty. So find your spoon that you've lost, or that I've lost, or get another spoon. Give that a mix. Looking to turn it like, yeah, you want softened butter. You don't want it like obviously melted, but you want it soft enough that basically this is going underneath the skin of the chicken. So you want it soft enough that when you can't get to those hard to reach places in the bird, you can easily just push it down and it will slide down into those crevices. Set that aside and then grab your bird. Tony? Now of course I am joking. I obviously meant grab your chicken. Yeah, get your chicken out, get it on the board, preheat your oven to about 200 degrees Celsius, fan oven that is. Make sure your surface is clear, nothing about that the bird's gonna contaminate, obviously, salmonella and all that. If you've ever had it, you'll know you won't want it again. If you've never had it, then you won't want it. Cut off the string at the end, get the string off, whack it in the rubbish bag, open up the chicken. What you want to do, this slit here with the skin, take your knife, lightly just glide your blade down the breast, slightly, and then what you can do is just get your hand in there, and you're basically looking to just separate the skin from the flesh, because this is where the butter's going, and this is what's going to make the chicken the most moist, incredible, flavoursome chicken you've ever had. Once you've got it down the breast, work down to the legs. Usually you can just push through with your finger like I am here. You can obviously see it coming through, and what you're doing, like I said, just work your finger through it without stretching it too much. You don't want to pierce the skin, because obviously then your butter is just going to come out everywhere, all over your oven tray. So basically you just want it intact, but you just want a lot of gaps between it. So when you open it up this side, it will just look like that. So it's quite stretchy, but obviously this bit here is tearing a little bit, where I've been a little bit aggressive with it. Get your butter. Don't worry about your hands having chicken on it for now. Get a spoon, and literally you're just piling that in there, in between the flesh and the skin. You can see where I've got the butter here. Just massage it down. Get a bit of butter on the top of the bird as well. Push it down into the legs, where I've said that you can easily get to. Keep the skin quite tight and pull it back over the chicken so it's not at risk of coming loose or peeling back when it roasts. Get the remaining bit of your butter, and yeah, just make sure you've not like you're not looking to cover the whole chicken. Just make sure you've got like if you've got a bit like this that you can't cover underneath, just get it on top, and you're going to have a little bit of flavour in there. Don't forget the wings. Remember, keep the skin tight on top. And then get a whole lemon. Get your knife and simply, just cut it in half. Get half of it. Squeeze a little bit of lemon juice over the top. It's not going to be lemon chicken. It's just going to be scented with a little bit of lemon, just for the extra bit of flavour. Obviously, I'm not going for lemon chicken here, like from the Chinese or something like that. But it just adds, like I said, an extra bit of nice flavour. Then sprinkle a little bit more on top. Whack it inside the carcass, both halves, and then then pull the skin over so it's tight on top. Wash your hands, and then you are ready to roast. Transfer your chicken to an oven rack over, one of these, over one of these. Just so basically the fat can drip down inside here, and then that's what I said earlier, like the butter's basically going down inside here, and then it will steam up. And what we're going to do afterwards, we're going to roast this for about an hour and a half to maybe an hour and 45 minutes, all at a really scorching heat at 200. Because we've got so much fat on there, what we want to do is melt that down, and we're then going to look for a crispy skin on top. So once it's done, we're going to cut off the skin, shred the meat, put the skin back in the oven for about 10 minutes to crisp up, and that will be absolutely incredible. What I am going to do now is weigh out my quinoa. I am going to use 100 grams of quinoa, and what you're then going to want to do is, like you would rice, give it a wash, and then you basically need double the weight in water for the weight you have in quinoa. So obviously I'm going to be using 200 grams of water, or 206 really, but who's counting? So I'm going to wash my quinoa and then put that aside for later on, for when we come to assemble the dish. The good thing about this recipe is because it's basically going to be like a warm chicken salad. Everything can pretty much be done while the chicken is in the oven, and it doesn't have to be exactly ready on time. I'm just about to boil some green beans on the hob. I'm going to keep them warm probably, but like I said, you can just do it beforehand, and when they're ready, whack it in ice water, and well, if you want, bring it back up to the boil afterwards, or you can just have them warm or cold. Basically, what I'm going to do, I haven't decided yet, but I'm just going to cook them now, and when they are done, I'm going to whack them in ice water. If I decide to, I'll heat them back up afterwards. I'm also going to boil some eggs to medium soft boil, so the yolk is slightly runny, and then I'm going to season my quinoa with a little bit of cumin, salt and pepper, a bit of olive oil maybe mixed in, and serve it with watercress. After you've poured the water into your quinoa, use boiling water, by the way, I should have said, just boil a kettle and pour it in, just so it's easier, so you're not waiting around. Once it's up to the boil, whack a lid on it. I don't have a fitting lid, but that's fine. Bring the heat down, right down, just below a simmer, and leave that to absorb. And in about 20 minutes, 25 minutes, take it off, give it a check, and fluff up the quinoa with a fork. What I'm doing now, really quickly, is just lightly toasting some hazelnuts, just because I want to add a little bit of crunch to the salad, and obviously lightly toasting them adds more flavour. Now I'm just going to boil some eggs. I'll put some water on to boil. I'm going to wait for that to come to the boil, and then put the eggs in for about 7-ish minutes. 7 minutes, yeah, 7 minutes, yeah. So, do that. The quinoa is now done. Just going to season it with a little bit of salt. I've also put some olive oil in there to give it a bit of a lift. As always, add black pepper. if you're a fan. If not, obviously you don't have to, but I bloody love it. I'm also going to add, what did I say? Some cumin. Just to give it that kind of spicy fragrance. And also a tiny bit of vinegar. I say it's tiny, that's actually way more than I thought I was going to put in. And garlic puree. Once you've got all that in there, give it a mix. I've already fluffed this up with a fork halfway through the cooking, but it did need a little bit longer, so it just depends on your preference of how you like it cooked. I like mine a little bit softer, but it depends. Maybe a teaspoon ready, tasting spoon, taste. That's done. Set that aside. And then the chicken is just about ready to be shredded up. Just another 10 minutes. So yeah, everything's pretty much done. Got the eggs on, done the quinoa, done the hazelnuts, got the green beans soaking in ice water. I'm going to finish those off. I'm probably going to heat them up just in a little bit of butter, just in the pan, just to give them the nice glaze. Got watercress in the fridge, and the chicken is nearly ready to come out in about 10 minutes. Just going to peel off the skin, which should be nice and crispy now, but we're going to peel it off, put it back on the tray while we leave the bird to rest, and the skin can crisp up in the oven while we shred the meat. So yeah, nearly done. The chicken is out and we are nearly ready. Get it off as so onto a chopping board. Every little bit counts. What we are going to do is get a knife, not a very big one, just maybe an office knife maybe. Start going underneath the skin. Doesn't matter if you accidentally make wrong slices. Just get like, yeah, just little bits of skin like that. Put it back on the tray. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I can assure you this will taste absolutely incredible. So yeah, the whole skin of the breast should come off nice and easily. Lay that on the oven tray. If you have got asbestos fingers like me, then you should just be able to peel it off on your own accord. Now, because it's been in the oven for so long, I say asbestos fingers. I say asbestos fingers. I have just burnt myself. Look at that. Look how easily that just comes out. This is going to be so blimmin' good. Now obviously don't forget chef perks. Oh my god, that was so good. Try and get as much of the skin as you can, even from the legs. Just get it all, because after doing this dish for several years and it always being a winner, I have found that no matter how many chickens you do, for however many people, there will never be enough skin. That's what the people love. That's what Tony loves. That's what I love. So if you don't like it, I will certainly finish it. I'm going to whack this all back in the oven now. Keep an eye on it. Obviously you don't want it to be burnt, you just want that kind of crispiness. Look at the steam coming off this. And then yeah, basically, before you get 2 forks, but before that, cut down the breastbone with your knife, and then once you reach the carcass, angle your knife and follow the carcass round and get as much meat off the bird as possible. Obviously, no wastage. I will be back in a sec when it's all done. Just finish off the green beans and a little bit of butter, some salt and some pepper in the pan. Just to heat them up again, heat them through, and then we can begin plating up. Got the chicken ready and all shredded. Got the hazelnuts chopped, the eggs boiled, the quinoa done, and the dressing made. Let's do this. Right, so we're going to start with quinoa in the bottom of the plate. Squash that down a bit. And now just get our green peppers that have just been warmed back up and just scatter those through the dish. Mind your fingers. Just make a little bed, really. Next up, grab the handful of toasted hazelnuts. Just scatter that through, just to give it that nice crunch. Add your shredded chicken. Always be generous. Place your soft boiled egg on the top. Just going to get the skin from the oven, which is now really, really nice and crispy. Place that between the eggs like that. Just a few more bits as well, just because obviously it is delicious. And there we have it. Chicken with quinoa, green beans and roasted hazelnuts with an anchovy Hollandaise to serve on the side. Thanks for joining me on the first proper official recipe vlog of Rich and Tony's weekly vlogs, I guess, or more Rich's Kitchen if you follow me on Instagram. Hope you enjoyed the recipe, hope you make it, and I hope you enjoy it. Thanks, and see you later.